It's a beautiful day today. It is a beautiful morning. The birds are chirping and singing. The sky is blue. Even though I did not want to get out of my bed when my alarm went off, I was so tired and I was so like, oh, I want to sleep. I want to stay in bed. But you know what? I still feel good. I feel invigorated despite the fact that I'm going to work. A, I'm happy that the traffic is lighter because it's spring break and there's no school and therefore there's less people on the road and I get to work in maybe like 45 minutes. And B, I just had an epiphany. Stay tuned. Watch till the end. You'll hear my epiphany. And then stay till the very, very end, even after I say, see you guys in the next one, for a really, really, really nice little surprise. So when you spend a lot of time alone, you really start to think a lot. And it depends on how your brain thinks. Do you think about other people? Do you think about other people's circumstances? Or do you think about your own? Sorry, I got a hair here. So I'm getting ready for work in the morning, and I was going over some of my older YouTube videos, well, the one I posted, because you want to do some quality control and check how many responses it got, and if people asked questions or responded to you, you want to respond back. And it just clicked in my mind. It made me realize, I'm like, why is my life always such a conundrum in the sense that, like, I'm so excited and looking forward to like having the next thing, like having a house or getting married. And then once I'm there, it's like, I feel chronically fatigued by the very thing that I wanted. It's a lot of upkeep. It's a lot of maintenance. A marriage is a lot of maintenance. I think I was a great wife. I cleaned, I cooked. If someone doesn't like the cooking because they're very particular about a certain style of food, I mean, that's on them. That's not on me. Sorry, I'm over here putting on my laundry, putting on my jewelry, and I'm gonna put on my uniform, getting ready for work. But like, I realized when I was younger, I hated travel because it made me nervous, made me anxious. I was a very nervous and anxious type of person. And as I've gotten older, I've gotten more confident and more comfortable in my own skin. And so I started learning how to love traveling. I loved seeing a new place because the same old started getting so boring that life just felt very unfulfilling. And every time I would go to a new place, I honestly feel like once I've vacationed somewhere new, I never really need to go back there again. There are people who have like family traditions and they go to the same place multiple times over and over because it's an annual thing. I think that would bore the crap out of me. I mean, I've done that before with, ex-boyfriends and their family members and what they do every year. And it was fun because I was young and I was just very go with the flow. But now that I know who I am better, I would probably be like, nah, I don't want to do that. I like doing what I want to do now. Like, it's very hard for me to just be a follower and do what other people want to do. I just want to do what I want to do. And I think that's part of the reason why I want to be single. I feel like in relationships, there's always going to be one person who wants to dominate more. And if it's the other person, that's a problem for me for obvious reasons. But if it's me, that's a problem for me because sometimes I also get bored with someone who's just constantly following my lead. I would prefer someone who is of a meeting of the minds, who has similarities. Of course, we're never going to be exactly the same, but someone who, kind of wants the same thing, so they kind of plan and try to make happen, similar things that would also make me excited. But with that said, the whole point of what I wanted to come on here to say was that I realized I still love home, right? I still love being home. I love being home. When I come home from work and I'm showered and I'm fed and I'm about to get in bed and go to sleep, I am just like laying in my bed, melting like a popsicle in the sun in the middle of a hot South Florida summer. I am melting into my bed and it feels so good. And I'm like, oh my God, I love being home. And it's peaceful and it's quiet and nobody's bothering me. And I get to rest. Yesterday was a crazy day at work. But then at the same time, I love to travel. I think back on where I went last year. I went to 2 places. And what an amazing feeling it is to walk into a new place and be like, wow, look at this, look at that. Yeah, it probably fades quickly because like I said, once I've seen it once, I probably won't go back again. There's no need for me to spend that kind of money to go back and see the same place twice. But then I get excited about seeing another place. and another place and another place. But it's like I need that comfort also of being home. So it's like, duh, no wonder my mind gravitates to the whole RV life, because it's home and travel at the same time, in the same place. You get to travel at your leisure when you want, when you're ready. You can stay in the same place for a day or 2 or 10, and then get up and hop into your driver's seat in your very own little home and drive to the next site. You can go outside and go hiking or exploring or swimming in a lake or checking out a river. You can meet someone or meet a group of people and talk to them and say hi and engage. And the minute that feeling of like, I want to be traveling, this is so great, starts to fade, and you're like, I just want to go home. You just got to walk back to your camper, to your trailer, to your little RV, open up that little door, close it behind you, and you're in your own little shoebox that has a bed, a bathroom, a kitchen, and like a little leisure area, dining, sitting couch-ish area. That's all you need. That's all anyone needs in a home, is those 4 things: a place to sleep, a place to prepare your food, a place to do your business, and a place to relax, leisure, study, eat. You shouldn't do those things in your bed. So a bed and like a little sofa, or like the dinettes that turn into a little bed could become a little sofa. That's it. You have the 2 things wrapped in one. You have vacationing, traveling, seeing the world, and then you also have home, all in one. Because you also have to realize that what's worth it to you, having materialistic things or having the freedom away from the rat race life. Because the bigger your home, the nicer your car, the more things you own, which I used to be that way, right? Like, look at all my shoes and, my purses and, my closet back there filled with clothes. The more you have, the more you have to work to keep it. But like, once you've already purchased stuff and it's already there and it's been paid already a long time ago, it really doesn't even matter anymore. You just gotta stop consuming. You gotta stop buying. But if you love to consume alcohol or wine or cigarettes or things that are constantly running out and you're addicted to, you're always going to be a slave to those things. You're always going to need money for those things. But if all you need is the basics, a place to sleep and food to eat, and like access to basic health care and things like that, and you maintain a healthy lifestyle, Mother Nature is free. Like, Mother Nature's free. Sorry, I gotta put my socks on. Let's set you down right here. And just going like out into the wilderness. I don't know if you can hear me. I'm probably too far away. Going out into the wilderness is free. And so downsizing your house to like a little place on wheels, a little house on wheels, is the 2 things that I love wrapped up in one. I step outside of my little place because I have a nice backyard. Like, look at that beautiful plant there. Oh, I can't zoom in. See it? It's like an orchid and it's got 2 flowers. It keeps going. It's just hard to see through this window. And I have my terrace, but I've already seen it a million times. I've been here for 2 years. Like, it's beautiful, but I want to see a new place. And yet I want to be able to go home right away. So like, working full time, you can only take 2 weeks of paid vacation per year. And usually they can't be consecutive. You have to do them separately. So you got to pack your bags. You got to get on a plane. You got to travel, Uber to the airport and wait in the airport and go through TSA and wait at the gate and then fly. And then once you land, you stand up in the airplane and you wait, and then you get off the plane and then you take another Uber and then you show up to the hotel. And then next thing you know, your day is gone because of the travel. And then the next day you start your adventures, and then next thing you know, 3 days are gone and it's over, and you got to start preparing and packing and getting ready because you got to wake up really early to go back to the airport to then come back to your regular life. And it's just the ability to transition from home to exploring takes so many steps. It's such a lengthy process that I used to find it fun. I still find it fun, to hop on a plane and like go somewhere new, but it starts to feel like a drag, as opposed to, hey, I can live with less. I don't have to wake up every day and go to a job every single day if I live very minimally and I find a way to establish some sort of passive income that will be enough for me to pay for gas, food, possible maintenance repairs that the recreational vehicle might need, to pay for certain campsites, to pay for some propane, to keep a basic, health insurance policy, basic living costs. I would never have to buy more clothes. I have plenty of clothes to last me for the rest of my life. And I could have the comforts of getting out of my home and seeing a whole new place, having a whole new backyard, and then getting back in my little home when I'm tired of the world, when I'm tired of socializing with perhaps people who are on the other campsite, or I'm just like physically bogged down and tired and exhausted, and I want to go into my home and lay down. I don't have to catch a flight and be on a plane and taking an Uber to get back home and lay in that bed and be like, oh, no, my bed could be taken with me everywhere on wheels. And I can see everywhere, whenever, however I want. And the minute I'm too tired, just hop right back in. You don't even have to drive off. You could stay on that same campsite and stay in your RV for days if you feel like it. But of course, it's going to come with a cost if you're doing it by yourself. Loneliness could always be a factor. What if you get sick and you're by yourself? There's all sorts of things to consider. But it's like, this is why I'm so obsessed with the idea of this life. Every time I become obsessed with the idea of a specific thing, way of life, circumstance, whenever I achieved it, I was right. I absolutely loved it. I wanted to be a homeowner, and I'm not saying I don't love my home. I do love my home. I love it. I love it. I love it. But I have to work so much for it. I have to drive. I have to get in my car. I have to go. Thank God it's spring break and there's not a lot of traffic, but I got to get in my car now and go to work and deal with traffic. And that's tiring for me. Like just moving the steering wheel. Again, I did all my blood tests at the doctors and they said everything was normal. But I don't know if I have chronic fatigue syndrome or what, but just holding this phone up right now, like my shoulder's killing me. Notice I'm switching arms every, 30 seconds. Driving to work, parking, it's like a 10-minute walk through the parking lot. And it's just the same mundane views and scenery over and over and over, which is why it doesn't energize me. I could hike a 5,000-foot mountain, a 5,000-foot elevation mountain, and yes, I'm tired, but I'm invigorated. I want to do it. But yet hiking across a 10-minute length of a walk of a parking lot that I have done every single day for years, not that invigorating, but I know that I have to do it in order to make the money to have a house, to have a place to live, to have a place that I love, because I love my house. But if I can learn to love something much smaller, much cheaper, much easier to maintain, then the hikes that I take could be different every single day. And they won't be boring, they won't be mundane, and they could be exciting. And who knows if after doing that for a few years, I might say, you know what, I'm getting sick of this and I prefer to go back to my little routine. That could happen too. But you got to follow your heart, you got to follow your dreams, you got to follow your goals, and dream with logic, like with a plan, with strategy. Like, how can I actually make this happen? Versus like, oh, I'm just gonna be, the next Madonna. Like, you can't just put something out there that seems so ridiculously out of reach. You gotta think, how can I make this happen? And it could take a long time. It could take a year, it could take 5 years, it could take 10 years. That doesn't mean that you should give up. It's like pursuing an education. I'll never forget someone telling me, hey, look, when I was going to go to college, I thought, man, do I really want to put in 4 years worth of college? And then they said to themselves, well, 4 years are going to pass by no matter what. So if I'm 20 now, I'll be 24 either with a degree or without a degree. And that's the way I see it. That's the way I look at it. 5, 10 years are going to go by no matter what. So I I pay my dues, I do my efforts, I do my work, I do what needs to get done. And if and when I have managed to strategize so that I can prepare my life and my circumstances and my savings and, rearrange my expenses and, do something with this house, I would likely probably never sell this house, but I could rent it out. And if I'm able to minimize my expenses and achieve what I want to achieve, I would never finance an RV because that would defeat the purpose. That would be a monthly expense. I would rather save for one for the next 5 to 10 years and buy one free and clear in cash so that all I need is the basic living needs. And it could happen. You can make anything happen. Anyway, I gotta go to work. I'll see you guys in the next one.